Earthlings, welcome to Too Many Shows, a TV podcast. I am your host, Benjamin David. We are both live on our YouTube channel, B David Studios, and you can also find the pod wherever you listen to podcasts. So subscribe, follow there if you haven't. On that note, smash that like button, hit subscribe, turn on notifications for future streams of Too Many Shows. Also, any kind of super donation here on the stream or any of our videos is much appreciated. And we're continuing the pods and the streams with Alien Earth. We're in the home stretch, baby. Today we're going to be reviewing episode 7 of A Earth titled Emergence. We've been going live on our YouTube channel for most of Alien Earth Season 1, and then there's just one more to go, like I said, for the finale, just like today, 3 p.m. EST on Wednesday next week. And then starting this Monday, 9/22, is Tulsa King, Season 3. We're going to be going live every Monday since the episodes drop Sundays. And then stay tuned for the time, because it might be a little different. It might be 2 p.m. EST instead of 3 for Mondays. And finally, if you like the show and you want to support us and all of the other shows on our network, then head on over to our Patreon. That's patreon.com/BatmanBeyondMedia. Join the community here at Weyland-Yutani. You guys get early access to podcasts, detailed episode notes for each pod, and a ton of exclusive vids and pods you can only find there. That's all just at the $1 level. And again, that's patreon.com/BatmanBeyondMedia. All right, so let's do it. My review of Alien Earth Episode 7. All right, here we go. Some IMDb credits, and then we have our non-spoiler initial thoughts. And I'm going to keep these very brief, these IMDb credits, and then, of course, our spoiler walkthrough. Again, I'm going to keep these short, just writer-director today, because all of our cast is the same. Episode 7 is once again titled Emergence. Script is by Noah Hawley and Maria Melnick, and then it's directed by Dana Gonzalez. So a brief synopsis from IMDb. An escape plan is hatched, leading to a breaking of factions, betrayals, and a shocking confrontation. Something we should have gotten in episode 4, even though it's episode 7 of 8 episodes, which is... Here we go, non-spoiler thoughts, and then again, our beat-by-beat spoiler walkthrough. I can't believe we're at this point in the series, and this is it. It's just... Nothing has happened, and what has happened is such an insult to my alien intelligence. And also, by the way, don't have to have read novels, all kinds of... just the amount of Alien homework I did, not just for this show, because I love Alien. So I can tell you as an Alien fan, and someone who didn't even recently get into it until this deep, until within about the past year, I want to assume that if I had seen this last year as my point, I still would have been like, what the fuck am I watching? I don't get it. The other thing I'll say to illustrate my point, especially I think this episode... And it's a little, I guess, symbolic of how I feel in general. There's the Out of the Shadows novel and audio drama, Alien Out of the Shadows. And then I just read a book called Predator Stalking Shadows, a novel. And I gotta say, man, integral. I mean, I know the first, obviously, Alien, so this might sound contrived is my point. The first Alien thing we ever got was a movie, but it's a creation of film. And in that film, shadows. Everything's about shadows. These things come out of the dark. In this show, and we saw this even on the spaceship, where you had all the excuse for shadows and vents and the cool shit we got in the first Alien, haunted house movie in space. It's like, use the dark. We're just seeing a guy walking around in the suit, bobbing around all awkwardly, and now we're seeing this thing in the jungle. I can't. And speaking of Predator, if you want to do Predator stuff, I was just talking about shadows. You could make it at least... And weirdly, we were getting clear ripoffs of Predator. I mean, not just in shots, but even the sounds of it. Because I've watched everything Predator, I think. If you haven't watched my recent streams, again, I've watched everything A and P. And, all right, if you're going to do it, great. I even said last episode, where they were in the jungle, I'm like, do some Predator shit. You're on an island in the same universe. You're in the jungle. You have a bunch of Marines/medics walking around. No Predator attacks, no Predator-esque attacks. Bizarre. But anyway, I just want to say that for this particular episode, to wrap up my non-spoiler, and then we'll get to our spoiler walkthrough, I give up. I kind of gave up by last episode, but I wanted to say, all right, you got 2 left out of 8 these are bigger projects than ever TV wise, right? 22 episodes is a much bigger thing than 8. There's 8 total episodes for this whole season again, and it's like, all right, maybe a quarter of that is a good amount of time that you can somewhat redeem yourself. Sorry, you haven't. So again, we are going to review it next week, but I'm just so disappointed in this show, and maybe it's the blessing and the curse of all this alien homework, but I'm still glad I did it. And as I said last episode, I'll keep showing up for the abuse, I guess. All right, so spoiler walkthrough. And so begins our beat by beat spoiler walkthrough of episode 7, Emergence. We open with our previously on flashes. Again, this is mid-title treatment of Alien Earth. This time doing the Tim Burton Batman close-ups of a xenomorph head. And we're going to talk about the xenomorph even coloring in this, which I just don't understand what I'm even watching. The face hugger, again, this is the previously on stuff. So the face hugger on low sperm count, he gets attacked. I thought that was actually a decent face hugging. I liked how, I don't know, it was okay. Some people said they didn't really like it. I didn't mind that, especially with him. I don't like him, which is a problem of the show, but at least I enjoyed it. The fly attack on Toodles. Again, these are the flashes, the previously on. And Toodles is the hybrid. So the fly attack, man, that was fun. I like seeing that. I will, as always, give the show credit where it is due, but God, just more of that. Just do what you're supposed to do. Be an alien show. We want, as I said in that episode, this is why we're here. We want the aliens v robots. We want aliens and robots. We want action. We want bloody shit. Be that blood white or red. Just give it to us. All right. So slightly Arusha's cell phone charging room, because again, they live in these, their rooms are essentially, they're quote bedrooms. They're not really bedrooms. Low sperm count is face hugged. This is again Arthur Sylvia. Their names are so bad, but Arthur Sylvia is literally under the cell phone charging bed of Slightly Arush, as if he's 6 years old. Oh, I'm hiding something under my bed. Then he starts to feed him. Like, what? Did Morrow tell you to feed this guy? Why on earth would you start giving him food? I know it's liquid food through this future Tubi thing, but what on earth are you doing? What on alien Earth, Slightly Arush, are you doing? And then Smee is like pounding on the door. This obnoxious Smee character who we got cringe shit last episode for as well. That guy, I could not stand him last episode, and more of him this episode. So we just get this team up of characters that I couldn't stand on their own, and now you've teamed them up, and they have the most cringe dialogue. It is like just painful. He was doing that arm folding shit last episode. Just they don't, and that's a direction problem. Like I don't care what is on that script, which is not good, but they got to figure this out. And it both at this point is and isn't worth mentioning. I was saying this kind of in the beginning of like, I've given up on the show, but it both is and isn't worth mentioning the surveillance situation here. They're having these conversations like, oh, don't tell anybody, please. You promise me, don't tell anybody. There is no don't tell anybody. All of it is monitored. So let's get that out of the way. It both is and isn't in episode 7 worth talking about. And so anyway, as Smee's pounding on the door and more of this cringe dialogue to come, he's like, I'm busy. You can't come in. And he's like, busy? We're never busy. What? What even is that? So many lines in this of like, is that supposed to mean? And why aren't they busy all the time? You spent, and I found out, a quick correction. Last episode, I said $1 billion per synth. It's $6 billion per synth. I didn't know that. So we're going to learn that. Oh my God. 6 times the reasons of why I'm right about that bullshit last episode. And it's like right here, again, I've given up, but we have officially gone beyond a reasonable doubt. Worst alien I've ever consumed. And I'm not going to, this is the last time I will say it because we're at this point. The amount of homework I've done, I think I can really That actually, it just means a lot more than, again, it would have a year ago. It doesn't mean my opinion is like, oh my God, it's the best. You have to listen to me. Just the point is, like, I've consumed a lot of Alien, and there's never been anything out there that's even close to this. I mean, maybe that Phalanx novel, Phalanx, Phalanx, and it's like this and we'll get back to the episode in a second. I just want to say, trying to give the show credit, comparing it to other things, I can't. It's like, but this Phalanx novel is like a pre-industrial planet, and there's aliens somehow on the planet. You know, there's no tech, no spaceships, at least that I saw read by that point in the novel, and I was like, I'm good on this because it's so not Alien. And back to this, I can't think of anything like comics, novels, audio dramas that comes close to how off the reservation this shit is. So that's worth saying. So Slightly Arush asks me to help him with the body. And we now have 2 people monitoring, also worth noting for surveillance in the beginning of this episode. Morrow and Kirsch. Let's not forget this. Both of them are monitoring, apparently, and then Slightly Arush is making all these mistakes, according to Morrow. Well, why weren't you telling him what to do along the way? Or at least monitoring him, being like, don't do that. How about a don't do that audio FaceTime? Nothing. So Smee goes out in the hallway. Corridor's empty. Let's go. Yeah, because no one works here. No one's in this place. Like, and which later, we're in the spoiler walkthrough at this point. The end of the episode, how many Marines do we see come out of fucking nowhere? It's like, you got 100 of these guys, and they were where before? As these 2 idiots are walking around with a face-hugged scientist in the hallway. Scientists who got fired and shouldn't even be on the island. I mean, it is just the list. The list. So Kirsch approached the secure lab. This is, again, the Xeno lab, the alien lab, with some containment security guys. The alarms are going off in this wing, by the way, but not in the corridor of Slightly, where they're moving around as scientists face-hugged. Why are there no alarms in other... They act like this place isn't all on one island. They literally... It's an island. Everything in this whole facility. The alarms, you get my point, would be going off everywhere, but okay. Kirsch stays outside the lab, observing Toodles getting fly sucked. So this is the first time he's seen it in person, because again, they were visiting Yutani last episode. Now they're back. And this is interesting. You know, he can't go in himself. I like that idea. I liked, again, the fly shit was cool, but so much of it doesn't work. Like, why isn't this fly consuming the entire room? Why didn't he eat his own cage? Which I didn't even think of last episode. And that made me feel stupid as a reviewer. I listened to another review and they were like, you know, afterward, because again, I don't listen to reviews before I do my own. But they were like, yeah, it's, why didn't it just eat? It can eat through metal. And as they said in this, it digests on the outside. So it spews its whatever and then sucks it back up, I guess. Pretty gross from its proboscis. And, okay, cool. But so why doesn't it consume the entire room? Because we do see it take out some control panel. And then, by the way, all these guys had to do, all you have to do is cattle prod the fly. All you have to do is cattle prod the fly. And also, it's like, just because, all right, let me try to say this coherently. We know that the xenomorph egg will only open for organics, hence why Kirsch said, wanted the billionaire to walk away. But he can be around it since he's a synth. Now, just because the synths are also now have a threat like the fly, which is the whole point of the fly, doesn't mean humans also aren't. I did get it. I got it out coherently. There it is. It's like, why are these things not a threat to the humans with cattle prods is my point. It's so weird. Then Cavalier shows up. So the room is clear. Now Kirsch can go in. And like 2 seconds later, after Kirsch walks around, Billionaire walks up like 2 seconds after that. And he's like, oh yeah, you can come in now. Why can he come in now? Are you sure the room is clear? How the hell do you know the room is clear? And if it is clear, you should have told us there's a passage of time, because this is science fiction. You're a science philosophy synth. This is your function, literally, to tell us these things in a science fiction. All right, so Cavalier shows up and still, in all caps, people, doesn't know what happened. He's like, what's going on? Okay, you don't know about the list I went through last episode. You didn't know about the dead $6 billion synth on the floor. You didn't know about the fly breaking out. You didn't know about, didn't know about, didn't know about, didn't know about. It's like this whole world is supposed to be dystopic. What am I trying to say? Fascistic surveillance state. So why that surveillance? I'm shorting out like the synths. So reboot and restore. And he's like, sorry. So Boy Cavalier's like, just reboot and restore. And Kirsch is like, well, practically we haven't cracked that idea. Because he just looks at the synth on the floor. He looks at Toodles, who's now Isaac. And he's like, well, so that's $6 billion down the drain, but it's okay. Can we reboot and restore? And practically we haven't cracked it. Again, why does no one know anything? You didn't know you're the head of the company that you weren't able to reboot and restore these things? That's a pretty basic function that you probably would have an idea about if you were the one spending $6 billion, because you know that number, but you don't know that. He's like, this wasn't an accident. And then all right, the sheep thing, eyeball sheep, eyeball octopus. What we've done with these characters, like everything, nothing. Because a sheep rammed glass last episode, he's like, that's calculation. And he even has a moment of doubt too. Boy Cavalier's like, or no, I forget who says it, but they were just like, yeah, it doesn't necessarily. He's like, no, this means that because. So if you remember from last episode in the fly thing, when Toodles went into the cage, the eyeball, now sheep / octopus, bumps the cage and makes him drop the food and then fall. Okay, so I mean, dude, like that could happen at a zoo. And I'm not saying this thing isn't intelligent, but we also already knew this thing was intelligent. The theme for a millionth time. Shit we already knew. That's the theme of episode 7 Emergence. That keeps happening. It's like we already knew this thing. Oh wow, it's smart enough to hit glass. It's smart enough to maybe have malicious intent and plan for this robot, who, by the way, they're being imprisoned. So from this intelligent thing's perspective, why wouldn't he try to fuck over someone who's stupid enough to go into a cage with something that's his only threat? Because again, the synth child by himself, the one major threat to him as a synth was this fly thing, because it consumes metal. So cool. All of this is just so good. This therapy is what this is. Anyway, Cavalier wants the sheep moved. He's like, oh, I want it away from the other ones. It's just so smart. It's able to bump glass. We need to move it to another area. This thing might have potential. Like, yeah, we knew it had. But to all of these, oh my. It's just, okay. So enter Wendy. We're still in the secure lab / Xeno lab. And by the way, there's a xenomorph in the glass, if I didn't say that before. Why, hence Xeno lab. The whole time there's like this almost full, it's like a 3/4 size xenomorph. You know, your full size xenomorph is typically 8-9 feet. This thing is like 6 foot at this point, because again, it was growing and has grown up in this cage. Okay, just no ability to get it, just chilling inside this cage with everyone, because the Xeno's our friend. We have established this. This is the Xeno Cobra grown up. Anyway, so enter Wendy. She sees dead Toodles. What happened to Toodles? Or she says, what happened to Isaac? Science. Because that's good dialogue. So that's what Olyphant says back to her. What happened to Toodles? Science. Oh, that was in a script. And she's like, but we're premium. Like, okay. Who told you can't be damaged or injured? Or whatever you call it. Did someone tell you that, like, nothing, you're impervious to, let alone metal? Like, how is this not in one of the first safety meetings when they were like, okay, the biggest threat to our $1 trillion, because apparently the program, just the hybrid program alone, is $1 trillion. So this guy's a trillionaire, Boy Cavalier, but this project. So you put $1 trillion into a thing, and you don't have a class meeting going like, this is their version of a school shooting, whatever. And I'm not trying to make light. I'm serious. It's like, we saw his face get consumed. The biggest threat they have to it, once again, is this thing. There was no safety meeting like, hey, stay away from this. And she thought she was premium. What does that mean? They told you were immortal, like you can't be damaged? I again, how do these Blade Runner replicants not? They would know more than anyone. And by the way, what comes back in this episode is this techno omnipotence that she has. She can just go up to any tech and just completely manipulate it and have all this inexplicable mental control, whatever. Okay, and then you didn't know that you could be damaged. Great. Now she wants to tell the others, and Cavalier tries to stop her, and then she clicks to the Glaston Xeno. Again, we knew she could click to the Xeno, which makes it, once again, bumping glass is a lethal threat on this show. On this show, bumping glass, because nothing happens. So this suffices action. And he goes, oh shit, where are the others? Because that's what makes then the guards step aside. They were like, oh shit, she clicked to the Xeno, which bumped the glass. Now we're going to let her go. Now she can tell all the other replicants what's going on. What? And aren't they, like, if she has this techno omnipotence, why doesn't she just tell them online? Can't she just like, hey guys, we're fucked. Hey guys, anything with, and it wouldn't be a hey guy. It would just be, they would have a mental instantaneous, within nanoseconds, she would be seamlessly is the word I'm looking for, communicating with the others, the other lost boys, guys. Oh shit, where are the others? Oh shit, like, you didn't know? I just don't, especially, he knows at this point too. We all knew that he can make it bump the glass, but that's it. Then Kirsch checks the computer, and now, 15 minutes into episode 7, they both learn that the hybrid trackers are off. Kirsch apparently was monitoring all of this last episode with his iPad even on the transport ship. When Boy Cavalier was jumping around in the cockpit, he's like, hey, you got this under control, right? And he's like, yeah, I do. And we know that Kirsch has other motives, clearly. What they are, which we'll get to, it would be nice to know what Kirsch wants by episode 8. Maybe we'll learn that in the last episode. But anyway, now they learn the hybrid trackers are off. Cool. So now we're in Wendy's cell phone charging room. Mercy. Enter Joe Hermitcrab. He's just so weak. Mercy. I hate his voice. I don't know if they're trying to give him a British thing either, what the voice situation is, but ugh. This music, by the way, is too close to the Fargo series music, which, of course, Noah Hawley is responsible for Fargo. I love the first 2 seasons of that, as we talked about. But I wonder if this Russo guy, I think it's Russo, is the same composer. Anyway, I don't know how much time we have until they realize there's something wrong. Yeah. That's what we're all thinking, Mr. Crab. I don't know how much time until FX Hulu realizes there is something wrong here. Like, you spent $250 million, and we're all going like... But anyway, so... Again, how does no one know? And now they're making this a plot point. This is why I'm trying not even to harp on the same thing, but now it's coming out of the mouth of a character going like, well, we don't know how much... How do you not know how much time? Why is there any amount of time till they realize there's something wrong? There would be 0 time. That's the answer. Would be 0 time. But, okay. And now they're thinking they can save the rest of the Lost Boys in their island escape mission. So Wendy's like, we have to try to save the others, because I'm Wendy. And she's apparently the protagonist, which we're going to learn very soon. What the fuck? Like... the things they have her do out of nowhere. And we're supposed to be like, oh yeah, she's the good guy. Is she? Because, whoa, dude. Like, seems like she just gets to act. And whatever Wendy does is okay. Anyway, so Wendy and JHC go to Nib's room. What a great sentence. Wendy and Joe Hermitcrab go to Nib's room. The other girl we barely know. This is the one with kind of the like New Zealand type accent. Who they didn't develop at all. She was the one who was supposed to be like the closest to Prodigy. And even this, we're seeing like her sympathies are with the island, with Neverland, doesn't want to leave. But did we get any development of her? No. And you had 8 episodes. You know, you could have kind of... It probably is too big of a cast, but clearly with a series, you have time to do an ensemble thing. Why didn't they do it? Who knows? It's a great question. As I ask myself and talk to myself here in the live stream. So, again, this other girl we barely know, is mad that they were honest with Nibs. So she's like, why did you tell her that they wiped? Why did you tell her? Why did you tell her about like memory murder? Is that a real question? Why wouldn't they tell? Oh my. Anyway, so like you're taking the moral high ground. I get she's supposed to be on the side of the island, on side of Cavalier, but dude, you don't ask why. You know what Wendy's motivations are. Like, why did the sun come up? I don't know. It's weird, right? So Nibs agrees to go. She keeps playing with some, and she's shot out. She's like, I'm a 4-year-old again, and completely. Again, they didn't lock her up after her outburst. They're still letting her just run loose after thinking. Again, yeah, of course, they did do the memory wipe. But I guess I just mean post memory wipe and thinking she was pregnant, losing her shit. She's just hanging out with her friends, not being on lockdown. Like, no, let's keep an eye on her before we let her out into the populace, which we see this episode literally what she is capable of. So there's proof. I just answered my own question. Promise you won't tell on us? What is this? Did my 5-year-old niece write this? Like, this is like when kids think you can't tell they're up to something. I remember my friend's little brother had a giant box of cereal and he wasn't supposed to eat more cereal. Giant box of cereal behind a 4-year-old walking through the hallway, but because he had it behind his back, he thought we couldn't see it. That's what 4-year-olds do. Promise you won't tell? There's no... everyone knows what you're doing. But okay. Or maybe they don't, because there is no security here. Marcy, trying to get her in the hallway. I hate Joe Hermit Crab so much. Again, the only 2 people working security are in the hallway, which for the millionth time we see 100 of them later, but cool. They only have 2 people when, again, there's been a quarantine breach. There are loose aliens. There are loose... I guess there's not the loose xenomorph yet, but my point is all the shit that happened in the secure lab, we have a dead hybrid and you have like 2 people at a time walking through the hallway and like no one else. There's no lab workers walking around. Ugh. So they're still in Nib's room and Wendy uses her techno-omnipotence on one of the screens in there. So the whole time, by the way, she's continued to possess this power, yet doesn't know they've turned off the trackers. She's like, wait, how do they know? They turned off the trackers, but you are a god of tech. But cool, okay. Anyway, she swipes right on the Xeno, finds it in the secure lab / Xeno lab. And here's where the storytelling really, like just basic storytelling. She's the protagonist. She's Wendy of the Lost Boys. And as if the series hadn't taken us off the cliff enough times, Wendy now has her first kill. And it is like a throwaway moment with no conscience. Like no back and forth with the others. No sitting there going like, all right, no turning point type. Just, I'm going to unleash a xenomorph. And by the way, it's not like a bunch of Marines walking around in there. It's not Boy Cavalier. It's not people who have like directly threatened her. She's just a killer. By the way, what I meant to say was it's just like lab workers. And of course, you could argue that none of them are innocent, but like, there's degrees. What is happening here? So, in short, she's now a techno-omnipotent Blade Runner replicant who can wrangle xenomorphs like Blue the Raptor in Jurassic World. That's what we're doing here. And in a very evil way, by the way. It's like, at least Chris Pratt found good ways to they had better intentions than this shit. So Wendy unleashes Xeno Blue out of its Xeno cage. Pretty shitty action here as well. Like the kill's real short. It's even in the lab. So it's like 2 seconds of CCTV footage, and then we're in the room for about 2 swipes of shitty looking Xeno claws on a guy. Like he jumps on a guy, lands on him, 2 swipes, flash to black, commercial. The show's called Alien. And even here, it's lit way too bright. Like, we're in a lab. And you did the flash thing. It's got to be obscured more. I can't stand how well lit this fucking Alien is. They keep doing this. And again, it only gets worse as we progress into what they think is AVP in the jungle without P. So just A in the jungle, which does not work remotely. And again, a bunch of lab assistants had to die for your escape. Like, there was no other way. And if this place is so sectioned off, if alarms are going off in certain wings and not others, why would it matter if you unleashed aliens? Would that really be a diversion? I guess obviously it is, and the Marines would. But they would still. The fact is, if we're supposed to believe, here's what it is. If we're supposed to believe that this is somehow a diversion security wise, why aren't they ever secure? The replicants, the Terminators, running around, child Terminators, emotional messes, hormonal slash, you get it. I mean, these things are ticking time bombs, but this is somehow a diversion for the security that doesn't exist, but somehow does exist at the end. So Dame Sylvia's quarters, slash, I guess it's her quarters. It might be your office. Really doesn't matter, guys. She's on her iPad looking at pictures of low sperm count because she apparently misses him. She misses her husband, who she completely fucked over and bitched once again. But I guess what they told us, low sperm count. I guess we're supposed to maybe feel bad for him. Maybe that's why they told us that. I don't know how that's supposed to make us like him. But anyway, enter Cavalier and Kirsch. He's like, where is he? She goes, where is who? The spouse. Okay. If you want to do the definite article of the instead of your, when you're talking about the brother, because that was actually, I gave the show praise for that. They're like the brother talking about Joe Hermitcrab, because he's not technically her brother, you could argue, because she's dead and in a new body. We get it. Whereas this is like the spouse. It's your spouse. He didn't... Again, this dialogue. What the fuck? He reveals that Arthur and the brother were turning off the trackers. She's like, I had no knowledge of this. Then access her of the. Oh, sorry. I misprinted. They accuse her of the escape, and they're like, you knew about it too. She's like, I knew nothing of the sort. And I like how now we're getting a secure lab breach alarm. So the secure lab breach, secure lab once again is the Xeno lab, and it's like, have we heard that yet on the show? I don't think we've heard that yet. So that's good. At least halfway through episode 7 of 8, we got that. So Smee and Slightly Arush are carrying the face-hugged body through the hallway, and again, this is low sperm count is face-hugged. The amount of dry ice on the floor is because of what exactly here? Like, I guess someone on set was like, oh, you remember that egg chamber on the derelict in the original movie? We should do that for no reason here too. I guess because their argument is a xenomorph broke out of the lab, so dry ice all over the floor. Anyway, Kirsch finally catches them. It's like, again, episode 7.5. What are you doing? And then just helps them to get to the beach faster using the secure elevator. Now, we knew before that Kirsch has his own motives. This kind of doesn't surprise me, I guess. But the problem is we don't know we know he has other ones. At this point, it's no longer interesting not knowing what Kirsch wants. It makes no sense to not reveal that. So Wendy, Nibs, and JHC are now in the jungle, wandering about as aimlessly as this show. Also keep in mind, no one has raided the island yet. All that setup from that 15-minute meeting last episode, which I actually liked. I believe her name is Sandra Yee Sensevidir. She did great as Utani herself. It was good to get Utani. If you're doing a show, let us meet Utani herself. Fantastic. But what? All that setup 2 episodes ago, episode 5, the end of episode 5, he's like, we're going to raid the island. Morrow says that to her in that awesome skyscraper. Giving it credit where I can. Surrounded by Praetorian guards. We're going to raid the place. Sick. Nothing happens last episode except a meeting. They got it. Again, this is where I still had faith in the show. 2 episodes, a quarter of the show, right? Yes. Out of 8. Maybe they'll do a raid in the beginning. Let's just kick this shit off. Nothing. Anyway, so the 3 find graves of themselves. So JHC, Nibs, and Wendy, again, are in the jungle. And Wendy and Nibs find these graves of themselves. Why are there graves of their old? Who dug graves or made a graveyard of your previous consciousness dead kids? Who the hell made this graveyard? What is this? They've never seen it, so it wasn't them. Oh God, like what the fuck is this? And then thank God we get another Coppola crossfade because we really miss those. I mean, there's like a quota on these. Oh my. And Marcy Hermit and her face. See, Marcy Hermit is who she was, and with you crossfade it, she's also on the screen. You see what they're doing? God, they're so insightful, these filmmakers. Smee and Slightly Arush are in the jungle now with face hugged, low sperm count for no reason. So again, they're dragging it around. They put it down for a second, I guess, to take some kind of a breather or something. Out of nowhere, for no, I could not. I like researched for a second. I even took a break about the memory. Anyway, what I'm about to say is some of the stuff coming up. I took a little refresher research break. I was like, am I missing some shit? The memory loss thing is a thing that happens. What doesn't make any sense, okay, is that, sorry, the body just disappears and then the face hugger drops out of the trees? Like, what? Why did it? And then when it did drop out of the tree, it was dead. So did it crawl up in the tree and die? Why didn't we see it die? Like, why the hell was this thing above them? If it was at the point where it was falling, my point is, if it was at the point where it was falling off Arthur's face, then why, if that means it's dead, then how did it get up in a tree? Just shit like this. And it was just so, probably, this is my assumption, which makes it worse, is just so you could get these two awkward characters to have a moment where like, oh my god, something scared us because we're just children, because you're idiots and it doesn't work on screen. So the three arrive on the beach. Still no raid. We are more than halfway through the last episode of what is possibly, by the way, only a mini series. Still no raid. Because Yutani is characteristically, by the way, someone who, you know, just gets bitched by a boy genius for 7.5 episodes. I don't want to keep saying 7.5, but I have to make new points as we talk about this, because it's like, does Yutani strike you as someone who would let this go this long? Her shit on an island, alien. It's like, no, she never would have let this go this long, is the answer. Whatever. So low sperm count points out that they're lying because they're bad at it, which they are, and thank God. And this is really just him telling them how bad their acting is. It's just like, you guys are too young to know that it's so obvious that you're lying. You're too young to know. And this is the filmmakers talking to each other, how bad this shit is, I guess. The showrunners talking to each other. So then low sperm count gets chest bursted, and we're supposed to care. Again, the show's so good. Obviously, on a human level, I care, but it's no point in elaborating. Slightly Arush looks for it in the grass, as if he'll be able to contain a Xeno Cobra. As if he thought it was like... And again, if Morrow didn't give him a conditional of, here's what to do if the thing gets away. Like, there wasn't... We saw a net that Prodigy had. I know that not necessarily... So there it is. I just answered the question in my head. Morrow should have just said, steal one of the nets that we see that Prodigy has, because they catch the Xeno Cobra later. That's how you catch it. Problem solved. But we don't want to do science in our science fiction show. Slightly decides to move forward with a hollow corpse. So now he's like, all right, Morrow will still accept this. He must accept this. All the things I've done. All the things I've completely fucked up. Therapist lady's office. No lockdown, by the way. All the same facility. All the same island. We're just relaxing in our office. There is a loose xenomorph at this point. It has killed 4 people. We have a dead hybrid. Go through the kill list. Chilling in your office. So then New Zealand hybrid comes in crying. She's like, what's wrong? Mom. And then curls up with her and calls her mom. Okay. Is she losing it? Are we supposed to take something from this? We don't know. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters at this point. We barely got any development from this girl for 7 episodes, and now, Mom, okay, explain in 2 seconds maybe if this is supposed to matter. It doesn't. Nothing does. And then she's like, I'm here. I'm here for you. Yeah, we know. You shouldn't be there, but you are. And every living thing, by the way, should be off that island yesterday. Like the second, not just, again, chilling in her office. It is like evacuation until we figure out. It's like everyone but security contain the island. Loose xenomorph. Which apparently they know so much about. I'm not even going to harp on the 2 years before, although, yeah, matters. In, again, a franchise that's like, this thing was born in the darkness of film, comes out of the shadows, all the shit I talked about in the very beginning. All that aside, because that doesn't matter anymore. It's just like, if you do want to make this thing so, I don't know, it's either a threat or it isn't, meaning like he already had the technology in Morrow, we saw, I think in the first or second episode, to contain it with that foam shit and drag it around like it's hunting game. And that is in one of the novels, but that novel takes place like 300 years in the future of this shit, I'm pretty sure. They have like a foam thing just like that. It's a foam gun. I'm like, so they had this 300 years? Like, there's just stuff that it kind of is worth pointing out prequel wise that they don't give a fuck about in this show. Like, they are just doing their own thing to the max. I could tell you that for sure, because again, I'm a nerd for this stuff. So you can act like you can jump around, but I am noticing, at least, if that matters. Everything will be okay. I promise. Like, even Ripley never lied to Newt. She's like, yep, monsters are real. You know, if she was affectionate, she's not going to lie to the girl, gaslight her. Like, this girl survived xenomorphs in a colony by herself for however long that was. Yeah, so don't lie to this girl. She knows that another hybrid's dead. She knows all the stuff. They're hybrids. They're supposed to know a ton of shit, but maybe not these hybrids because they're all idiots. Back in the jungle, our disabled duo are rafting low sperm count down a river. By the way, where did they get the ancient Polynesian raft? Where did that exactly come from? Like, it's Acme Looney Tunes rules here. And with 17 minutes left, including credits, we get our first evidence of a raid. A raid that was not teased, flat out, just like, we're doing it my way. 2 episodes ago, but okay, cool. 17 minutes left. Morrow and his boys come out the water like frogmen. Would be cool if it mattered. Then he's like, where's my xenomorph? You have a hollow corpse. And he's like, pissed the Xeno Cobra got away, which at this point, like, our only 2 competent characters have both collapsed into incompetence. Morrow and Kirsch. The synth and the cyborg. That should have been the show. It's the synth and the cyborg. We've talked about this, or I've talked about it. A lot of people have as well. We really should have just followed Morrow. A lot of the shit with his daughter dying, that's the way to do it, of like, it is both human and someone new, or something new to the Alien franchise, which is cool to do with a series, but also, you know, he's got the sci-fi edge of this cold-blooded killing cyborg thing. Perfect to foil him with a synth, this, you know, who clearly feels undervalued, but actually we don't know what he feels, because we don't know what the fuck Kirsch feels. But it's just, what annoys me, I'm saying, is that at a certain point it was inevitable. Our only 2 competent characters are going to collapse into incompetence. So cool. Target 1 failed. He's like, or sorry, Morrow's like, target 1 failed, moving to target 2. So low sperm count was target 1, moving to target 2. That would be the other xenomorph that is now loose. Okay, cool. Which I'm sure they don't know about, even though he knew everything before. Now he doesn't know anything. Now we have, I keep putting BK and not knowing what that is on my notes. Boy Cavalier's office with the Alfred. I think Adam is his name, but I like how people call him Alfred from Batman. Once again, BK being reminded it is not a good idea, probably, to have this thing around. I guess the third competent person, which may or may not, a lot of people are thinking he's a synth. I like that theory. It's very likely, but I don't know. He's like, maybe don't have this thing around. He doesn't listen, of course. Why would he? And then he asks the sheep a 7th grade math question. And this is supposed to somehow impress the viewer. Ooh, it knows what pi is. Amazing. I didn't know. You did know this thing. I knew that you knew that he knew. Okay? We all knew that you knew that he knew that he knew. And then he's just overacting, runs up to the cage. Oh, what can you do? And then it takes a shit, and it's like, I feel you. That's how I feel about this entire episode, / show at this point. And he's like, you know what? All right. He's going through this list of the best candidates for the eyeball octopus, depending on their intellect, essentially. And he's like, you know what? Get a mold scrubber. Someone with a low IQ, and then we'll see how smart it gets. A mold scrubber? Is this how billionaires, do you think trillionaires talk? Shut up. Then he says, then he says he knows then he says he knows just who to use, and he's like, oh, I know. And it cuts to JHC, cuts to Joe Hermitcrab in the jungle, and you're like, why him? Like, he seems kind of smart. That's not a mold scrubber. And it's just for shitty writing reasons. That's the answer. Shitty writing reasons. No, okay, like, I guess he poses somewhat of a threat to you. And does he know, like, why isn't the priority also getting your fucking hybrids back? Aren't they? Does he know they're gone? It's just, what is happening? Because he's so focused on this alien right now. This is a huge problem with the show. Is this baby Blade Runner or is this baby alien? Which show is this? And the show has done such a bad job combining the two things, because we just get distracted. He's like ADD about this shit and just gets sidetracked. How are you not prioritizing all of this? But okay. And then he's like, you should go before it's too late. So JHC, Nibs, and Wendy are continuing their journey after our contrived cut to the jungle, because clearly that's his target now, is JHC. You should go before it's too late, because all these Marines just pop up out of nowhere. And Wendy, just, again, this dialogue. How many times have we heard that in a movie? Oh, the super powerful character says, just save yourself. Get out of here before I do something I'll regret. Shut up. And then we just hear the straight up Predator. This is what I was saying before, of just like theft, not lifting, not nods. It's the Predator rattle sound. And then Wendy clicks it out the trees, and it obviously jumps down. Which, not just visually, but like, I've been watching a ton of Predator. That was the Predator rattler sound. Why are you giving it the exact sound? I know the Xenomorph does rattle. That's the Predator. You get my point? Okay? Just believe me. Just believe me, guys, if you don't know yourself. You watched it if you like Predator. Anyway, so this thing flies out the trees. What the fuck is that? I'm sorry, Morrow's frogmen don't know what that is. It's the target. Target number 2. He said that. Target number 2. So, you do know what that is. Oh, God. And by the way, why does the Xeno not get injured by the Wei-Yu machine guns? Like, because in Aliens, those things do get ripped up by machine guns. And they even, to the point where, like, they make it a sci-fi fun video game in the best way plot point of Aliens, of going like, oh, you can't use your projectiles near the nuclear reactor. And that's why they switched to the flamethrowers for a bit, because those guns are so effective. But they're like, all right, we don't want to make the Marines too powerful. But these guns are just, he shoots right in the air, point blank. The thing, what the fuck is that? So number 1, he doesn't know what it is. Number 2, the machine gun, and even if it is set to non-lethal, oh, I guess because they don't want to, they want to capture it, right? But then why don't they have the same projectiles that he had in the second episode? Why don't they have the foam guns that don't come out for another 300 years? Not that Noah Hawley cares. Then they all become friends, right? Not before, by the way. Let's not even, I don't know. It might be worth glossing over that Wendy once again has unleashed this fucking xenomorph, brought it out of the woods, which I guess was like following around the whole time, and has now killed another like 5 people in cold blood. Like, not complete cold blood, not the coldest of blood, but the fact that, like, again, there's no moment of conscience. The only moment of conscience we get for this is JHC taking a pause. But the protagonist herself isn't the one standing there who did the killing. Um, and then again, they all become friends, and we literally get our Xeno pet scene. The Xeno's off when now? It comes out the woods, comes up to her. No, JHC, back up. Joe, back up. And she pets it like it's fucking Blue in Jurassic World. I mean, that's where it there's the point of no return was already here, but this is really just they just keep careening off the cliff is my point. Amazing. So she clicks a few times at it before it runs away, and Joe Hermitcrab's like, "What did you say?" She goes, "Hide and follow, I think." You think? So do you or do you not have advanced communication ability? Is it as simple as ants talking? Because again, that's not that impressive. We're supposed to think it's supposed to be this advanced. There's more to them and blah, blah, blah. And if they do have this emotion where you can keep them at bay somehow, just because you can communicate in terms of hide and follow, I think this thing isn't going to tear you in half. Like, again, they should have had it should have been the end of the episode when the Xeno Cobra, or maybe when it was the Xeno Tot last episode. It should have really tore her up. Then she goes into surgery, and they're like, okay, now we know the threat. Just like the setup that we don't get for Psycho Nibs. Should have happened in episode 2. Oh, shit. These Blade Runner replicants are very capable of death. And they do a good job of displaying it, but why don't we get any of it? They should have done that with Wendy. Like, oh, this thing's really going to fuck her up. And even the Xeno Cobra, like I was saying, that it should have gone after her. It shouldn't have at first just been her friend. But everybody gets to be friends. Everything gets an origin story. Everyone, no. It's like a perfect organism, my ass. Ugh. I hate this so much. Ash in the first movie tells us what these things are. Can you take some breaks, some forks in the road, whatever you want to call it, away from deviations, away from the original 1979? Yes, get it. You know, but you can't go nuts. It's not your franchise. Stop humanizing these things. Like, are you kidding me? Again, I don't mind the intelligence thing. If you want to step up their intelligence, their ability, even if she does have some kind of connection to it, you can sell me on all of that. It's just what we're going to do with it, making them friends. No. Like, fuck no. Sympathize with it, maybe. Communicate with it somehow. I don't know. But you can't. It is not Blue from Jurassic World. Anyway, so cut to the Xeno Cobra slithering around the jungle. It gets caught in a net, and then we don't see by whom. And they're like, dun dun dun, who caught it? So Morrow and his frogmen are walking the captured Smee and Slightly Arush into the front door of Neverland. And now, kids, there are apparently, once again, like 100 Marines in this place. Where were they before? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. You know, face-hugged corpse, carrying that shit around, all the dirty business that was happening under these people's noses with no surveillance. Million Marines. So Kirsch comes out with the Xeno Cobra in a glass-tin cage because, you know, now at this point Morrow and his boys are surrounded. And he's like, finders keepers. No one likes a sore loser. Like, what? These are your lines? Again, it's the Morrow and Kirsch show. Alien, the Morrow and Kirsch, the series, whatever you want to call it. It's like, this is supposed to be the most interesting shit. And he says, no one likes a sore loser. Finders keepers. Okay. And then, oh god, the dialogue continues. I forgot about this. He's like, this isn't over, Morrow says. Nothing ever is. What? Like, what does that even mean? Oh god, it does continue getting worse. I keep thinking it can't outdo itself. And right before commercial, you two are grounded. Credit, or cut to black. Ugh. He says you two are grounded to the two kids. Is that was supposed to be funny? That was supposed to be like, oh, silly Olyphant. Fuck you. The grand finale on the docks. Shockingly, by the way. So these three idiots get to the docks again. We have Nibs, JHC, and Wendy. And shockingly, just like Morrow, the genius cyborg didn't somehow anticipate a bunch of Marines there or fight back or do any kind of like, what? That was your plan? Security was also waiting for these three morons on the boat. Who knew? On the escape boat, you say? On the docks. The one way off of this place. Security. They had no plan. There was no heist. Like sci-fi heists. How fun is that? They did that in that fucking Mandalorian show. People accuse that show of having, like, there's barely any plot. Things just happen. Yeah, at least they have fun little heist episodes. It's like an 80s sci-fi does better jobs than this. The fuck is happening here? They just were like, oh, can't believe these Marines. JHC actually looked surprised. Put your guns down. Or no, what was the delivery? He's like, put your guns down. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I remember rewinding it and imitating it. And I really try to remember it because his delivery was so fucking cringe. I can't stand how they direct, write, shoot this character. It's so bad. And again, we're supposed to care about him too. The protagonist brother. The brother, guys. The brother. We're supposed to love the brother, of course. Oh, God. And then, so again, they're now surrounded by all these Marines. And one of the Marines goes, don't hurt the merchandise. Don't shoot. The merchandise? Like, security is allowed to call the emotional hybrids merchandise. I can't. Just, you can work that out for yourself. The actual fuck. Especially Nibs, of all people. They didn't have a security meeting going like, this is our biggest hybrid threat right now. She's lost her shit. She thought she was pregnant. We just had to wipe her memory. And now she's talking to a fucking stuffed animal. And she has the power of Roy Batty from Blade Runner. But sure, let her just say merchandise. That won't set her off. Throw the fucking stuffed animal that she's about to say. And by the way, before that, she goes, Mr. Strawberry says, fuck off. What? Bro, that was in a script. In a script. So do I, Nibs. So do I. Fuck right off. And with exactly 5 minutes to go, episode 7, we get some more action. Hey, it's like scene 3. The Xenomorph kill was half a shot before. Again, most of it was CCTV. It was literally half. CCTV and then a zoom in. We got the chest burster and then this. Was there like anything else going on? And the raid meant nothing either. Even when they came up, what was the action that we got out of the raid? It was Morrow yelling at a fucking idiot hybrid. It was slightly a scene. So anyway, so this Marine throws Mr. Strawberry in the water. Nibs mandibles his face. And this was dope. Like, just ripped it off like a Predator and holds it up. That was very Predator, too. You could tell they were just, like, all over Predator in this. Hey, give it where credit's due. Fucking great. Seeing that guy's face get swooshed. But here's what it is. We should have gotten this. And I think I said this, like, 5 times, if I haven't. Episode 2. Yes, I did say this. It's like, we should have seen this before, but let's try to enjoy it when we can. Anyway, Wendy springs into action. Nibs gets in some throat shots on another person, like, ugh. And then the way she punches one of them, you see him flip off the dock. I gotta say, like, this, I didn't like the Xeno action before. This Blade Runner action was cool. Like, baby Blade Runner. This was, and I thought the actress did fine too. It's so bizarre getting good scenes among such shit. But I'll take it. Just have to, Alien Earth, we'll just condense it into like The Fly, this attack, a couple other scenes, but even the Xenomorph shit. How do you fuck that up? That's obviously our mascot, but you fuck up the mascot. Anyway, so then Wendy's like clicking for the Xeno, and the Xeno is hiding in the woods along the shore of this kind of river. The bank of the island here, but she's like holding it back because even Joe Hermit-Crab's like, no, don't summon the Xeno, and it doesn't come out the woods, and it's just waiting for her like permission. Like, okay, it's one thing if she wants to call upon it. She's not gonna hold it back from shit. So this thing basically, who loves her, it's her pet, whatever, it's her master, or she's its master. It's like, they're being attacked, and she's somehow keeping this thing from not attacking all of the humans on that dock. We can't get all of those humans getting taken out by a xenomorph. We don't want to see that. You know why? Because it kills our target too. That for no reason. Actually, no, that was target. Yeah, that's target 2, right? Yeah, we still have target 1. Well, yeah, it's the second to last episode. It's our penultimate episode. My voice is getting whiny. Why not have target 2 get taken out on that dock while it's completely obliterating a bunch of fucking guys? That would have been incredible. But no, we don't want to see action. We don't want things to happen. So Black Marine Girl, who's formerly friends with JHC, shoots Nibs with a handgun. She does the Terminator T-1000, like, dish, dish, which was cool. Again, the hybrid actress chick was doing a good job. And then JHC finally shoots her, because then she gets Black Marine Girl in a headlock, but like nothing. Then you didn't break her neck. Like, we heard cracking. Maybe at that point she was just like kind of realizing what she had done, but she'd already killed 2 people. I just didn't understand why Black Marine Girl didn't get it too. So JHC finally shoots her with this pretty cool like laser gun thing that they have. And man, I loved watching and listening to her just like short out like through her voice. They do a great job with sound. I said this before when what's his fuck's face was getting melted in the the fly containment thing. You know, this was awesome. And then she's like, "What did you do? What did you do? You're my brother. You killed the replicant who was killing a bunch of humans." Yeah, no shit. Like, half of you should be off the board at this point. I actually just thought of this. Why didn't they do it? If you don't have the time, which clearly we didn't, a New Zealand hybrid as a prime example. And by the way, credits, that's at the end of the episode. But before final thoughts and recommends real quick, it's like, recommends. Why didn't we get, it doesn't matter. I don't even remember where I was going. I just have so many problems, obviously. So final thoughts and recommends. This exact ending scene, like, as I said 3 times at this point, that's my final thought, is that the potential of this whole show, the potential in this case of one of these Blade Runner replicants going bad, all of this shit should have happened like 6 episodes ago. We should be way further into all this than we were before. And we never should have gotten this far, let's say, mythologically. Obviously, this is science fiction, but in terms of the rules that we set up, we'll call it pre-Alien. Like, I was on there. I know, because again, we haven't seen how they end up covering this shit up before Alien. But there's not a single argument I can see, especially in one episode at this point, where they can write their way out of that corner. And the biggest problem here is, what kind of arc are we supposed to have for our protagonist at this super late point in the series? I know I said this before, but in final thoughts, that's the most important thing. Writing 101. Wendy is Wendy. And she is now, again, a techno-omnipotent replicant who has a xenomorph pet who she can unleash on anyone like a fucking bulldog, and also has no moments of consciousness, because we're just supposed to believe she's purely good. Why would I believe, like, let's just say for a second I'm supposed to believe that. What, in terms of her character, in terms of her actions, am I supposed to say, oh, yeah, the girl who just kills without remorse, oh, I really like her? Meaning, it's like, we're supposed to like her through her actions, and we're supposed to view, as the viewer, things that she does, and that's where we collect whether we like her or not. What am I supposed to like from her? She's the protagonist. Or maybe, and if you are doing this, like, maybe this is just the cold, weird world of it, but I don't think that's meaning, like, maybe we're not supposed to like her. But then who are we supposed to like on this fucking show? I mean, Kirsch ends up being incompetent. Morrow ends up being incompetent. The writing is awful, characteristically, if that's the proper word. Clearly, I don't recommend, as I chuckled before. But, yeah. Again, at this point in the series, the lack of respect. I said in my one of my initial reactions, I thought there was a lot of respect by episode 2. I mean, going back, I probably not as much as I was giving it credit for, but I still think there was a good amount there, and I was okay with the way that they were, you know, clearly just more than homaging, but lifting straight out of Alien. I was going with it as the point, and I thought there was a lot more respect than now. Now it is just, it's way too much. Just, I'm glad there's one more episode, guys. All right, and that is the show. If you haven't already, smash that like button, hit subscribe, turn on notifications for future streams of Too Many Shows, subscribe and follow the pod. Again, that's Too Many Shows, a TV podcast. Any kind of super donation here on the stream or on any of our videos is much appreciated. And then again, starting this Monday, the 22nd, Tulsa King reviews. And then finally, if you want to support us and all the other shows on our network, then head on over to Patreon. That's patreon.com/BatmanBeyondMedia. Early access to pods and vids, exclusive pods and vids you can only find there. Detailed episode notes for each podcast. And again, that's patreon.com/BatmanBeyondMedia. Of course, the link is in the show notes. So this has been Benjamin reminding you to watch your shows. Unless it's Alien Earth. Oof.